Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Teleislas News, the most important news of the day. The Secretary of Infrastructure, Archibald, was clear in referring to the flooding caused by the rains that hit the islands yesterday. According to Archibald, there are criminal hands involved.
These are the images that went around on social network yesterday afternoon in the midst of a downpour that lasted about 3 hours without stopping and which caused flooding in some sectors and critical areas of the island. In the videos, there is evidence of the mixture of the sewage water which aroused the dissatisfaction of the island population. In view of this fact, the Secretary of Infrastructure, Archibald, said,
"As long as San Andres does not have a master plan of pluvial drainage when there are torrential downpours, and there will be downpours, then this will happen. Inevitably, the only way to avoid this, as we have been saying, is with a master plan of pluvial drainage."
According to Archibald, his portfolio has an immediate reaction plan. He also pointed out that criminal hands are involved in the situation.
And today, thanks to God, we can present to the community that the critical points of storm drains where there was a mixture of sewage does not fall under the jurisdiction of the Department of Infrastructure. That is why I say that there are criminal hands that connect the sewage to the storm drains.
Finally, the Secretary called on the entities involved, the Carolina Environmental Corporation, the Health Secretariat, and the Public Services Secretariat, to carry out an ocular inspection, and also to the community not to throw garbage into the canals.
And during a visit to the department, Attorney General Francisco Barbosa presented a positive assessment of the clarification of homicides, femicides, and other crimes that affect public safety on the island.
During his visit, the Attorney General and his team reviewed all the investigative strategies that have been in place for the last year and a half. The head of the Attorney General office presented a summary of the judicial actions implemented to guarantee citizen security.
We have achieved 100% of the solving of femicides. We have achieved the highest rate of solving intentional homicides in the national territory with 76%, constituting an example of good practices in the investigative action in the national territory.
Also, it was possible to increase the solving of domestic violence cases by 24 percentage points, from 11% to 35%, and sexual violence from 7% to 30%, through the same investigative strategies that have been successfully applied in other departments. In addition, with regard to the crime of extortion, a 61.53% clearance rate has been obtained so far this year.
Some months ago, we announced here hard blows against corruption, and we also committed ourselves to work with citizen security.
Attorney Barbosa referred to the dismantling of a gang of extortionists called La Mano de Dios, which was affecting the tourism sector and commerce of the island.
Much attention to the following note. If your vehicle has been immobilized and has been in the parking lot for more than a year, it could be auctioned or disintegrated. Let's see more information.
After a visit to the Secretariat of Mobility of the City of Bogota, it was possible to acquire strategies regarding the application of Law 1730, better known as the Yard Law, with the objective of defining the fate of the vehicles that have been immobilized on the island for more than a year. In this regard, the Secretary of Mobility, Luis Torres James, explained what decisions were made.
Nosotros en San Andrés tenemos un problema muy enmarcado.
In San Andres, we have had a problem for 7 years, where we have vehicles that rest in the parking lot without their owners having made the means to remedy the inconvenience they had when they were immobilized. Within the legal framework, this law allows us to declare them in a state of abandonment, which are vehicles that have been in the parking lot for more than a year.
The head of the Mobility Office also explained that vehicles immobilized for more than 1 year in the parking lot will be auctioned or dismantled if there is no one to legalize their status.
nosotros vamos a entrar a subastar esos vehículos.
We are going to auction those vehicles or else they will be dismantled. So the invitation is that all those who have had their vehicle immobilized in the parking lot for more than a year come and catch up with what originated this cause.
The Mobility Secretariat will previously send a summons to each owner of immobilized vehicles, warning them that they are abandoned so that they have the possibility of recovering them. Otherwise, they will enter a public auction where a base price will be established throughout an expert appraisal, or otherwise they will be dismantled and removed from the island.
And in an interview with this news agency, the manager of the bus cooperative of our department regret the death of 2 tourists who collided with one of the buses of this entity.
Good evening, Lisa and all the TV viewers. I say hello from here, from the Schooner Bight sector, because we talked to the manager of the COOBUSAN Cooperative, who want to tell all the community about the death of the 2 tourists that happened in the recent days. He sent a message of condolence to all the family and a message to the community.
Well, really, COOBUSAN, sorry about what happened with the 2 tourists. Well, we out there running every day and trying to give a service to the community, but we don't like this kind of things, and at the end of the day, well, it hurt us because we have family also, like the 2 girls that losing life in the accident. But we're trying day by day, trying to not get involved in this kind of incident. But you know, it's part of our work because we out there rolling on a daily basis, trying to give the community the best service.
The managers also want to tell the community that they make the exam of toxicology to the driver of the bus, and this was resulted of negative. They also mentioned that he is in good shape and he's in home right now.
Well, right now our driver is home. He there on some days for rest, trying to get over the situation that he lives. It's not easy for anybody to get in an accident, and you know, when he involucrated, then it's very hard for us.
Right now, the competent authorities are making all the investigation to clarify what was the reason of these accidents. This is information I report from here, from this point of the island. Continue Lisa in studio.
Thank you, Alice. And to know the status of infection, vaccination, and COVID testing on the island, we provide the following support.
With a downward trend is reported for the archipelago, the status of infection figures and those related to the coronavirus. Whereas of August 3rd, the National Health Institute reported 71,980 total cases of positive tests on the island, with 18 active cases. Also, in the ICU COVID, there is only 1 occupied bed, which could be attributed to a minor from the islands. However, there have been no recent deaths due to the virus. With respect to the results of the vaccination in the islands, a total of 40,953 first doses and 30,894 second doses have been applied in the department, where the vaccination continues house to house with this swept by sectors and in the fixed vaccination points in the departmental hospital and the cultural house of the Hill. Finally, the community is informed that the Prass strategy is advancing today in the Hill Well sector, tomorrow Thursday in the Guinea Hen sector, and will end on Friday 6 in the Vista Hermosa neighborhood. This is for the taking of free samples of COVID on the island.
And we continue with more local news. 3 fishermen at sea were rescued by the Coast Guard. Here is the news.
Coast Guard units attached to the specific command of the archipelago rescued 3 Colombian fishermen who were adrift in the waters of the Caribbean Sea near the island of Old Providence after the vessel in which they were fishing failed.
The rapid reaction units went out in search and rescue in order to safeguard the lives of these crew members. They were quickly found and brought to the Providence Coast Guard station, where they were given first aid, medical examination, and inspection of the engine which was damaged. At the request of the crew members, they were accompanied to the municipal dock, where we finished making the examination and monitoring of these crew members.
The Coast Guard units have indicated that inspection will be conducted near the island of San Andres and Old Providence to prevent the occurrence of such cases.
And now let's get to know other facts that are making news in our brief news sections of today.
The Corporation for the Sustainable Development of the Archipelago Coralina announced to the community that the ban on the Queen Kong continues until October 31st. For this reason, the environmental entity invites citizens not to capture, trade, or consume this key species for the Biosphere Reserve sea flower. The Prass strategy continues to be implemented in the department, where EPS, Sanitas, and Nueva EPS work together in the detection of the COVID-19 virus. In order to avoid congestion, the test will be performed house to house. For today, Wednesday, the strategy will be conducted in the sector of Hillwell, Thursday in Guinea Hen, and Friday in Vista Hermosa.
And now we continue with the weather forecast for today. The weather forecast for today, August 4th. In the coastal area of Archipelago, the sky is mainly cloudy. Temperature is 30 degrees Celsius, winds from the northeast direction with intensities of 18 km per hour. Humidity forecast is of 76% and probability of precipitation is of 11%.